My nightmare in-laws want me to babysit all the children for my brother-in-law's wedding 8 days after my C-section. So I cut contact and refused to let them see my child. I do not like my brother-in-law. 2 weeks before our wedding, brother-in-law got drunk during hubby's stag. Brother-in-law and 2 cousins shared group texts with everyone at the party about me, which were extremely offensive, resulting in an argument between husband and brother-in-law. These comments mocked my appearance, non-Brit accent, family, and health issues. No one ever apologized. In-laws covered for those involved and said I overreacted, and it was just British humor. I ignored everyone from that point on, always polite but distant, and made no attempts at friendship. At Christmas, we announced our pregnancy and due date of August. At the same time, brother-in-law and future sister-in-law announced their wedding date and venue for October 2023. The location is 2 hours from our house. A few days later, mother-in-law asked if I had looked at the venue online, which I had. The venue caters to kid-free events. I said to mother-in-law that it looked lovely, but I was concerned about the kid-free element and distance from our house since weddings are an all-day thing. Mother-in-law says, "Oh, they're not having a kid-free wedding." But when we got an invitation in the mail, it's kid-free, which is okay with us. With the invitation was a note which read, "At the request of mother-in-law and father-in-law, they have reserved a guest room at the venue for our night of the wedding." We politely replied to RSVP saying we wouldn't be attending because we couldn't leave our baby overnight as we have no one we feel comfortable leaving him with. He'll only be 7 weeks. I have no family in the UK. Hubby's family will be at a wedding, and hubby said he won't go if the baby and I aren't going. The next day, my in-laws called upset we weren't attending and said I could spend the day in the room during the wedding because it would look bad if hubby's not there. Hubby told them that was ridiculous to expect me to spend the day in a hotel room with my infant. My father-in-law argued that several cousins had small children and were still attending, but we stood firm. 1 week later, father-in-law announces that a cousin's friend has agreed to watch all the family kids, 6 kids under 4 years old, plus our 7-week-old in our home during the wedding since it's closest to the venue. We politely declined and explained I just had a C-section 8 days ago. I was also not leaving my 7-week-old overnight with one stranger and a group of 6 kids. We thought that was the end of it. 3 days ago, get a message from one of the cousins asking to call about the wedding. I showed it to hubby and we forgot about it until yesterday. His cousin's wife called wanting to know what items she should bring for her daughter. Turns out father-in-law and brother-in-law told the family that we aren't attending to keep all the cousins' children. I was mad and told her that was not true. I wasn't running an overnight drop-in service for a bunch of people who didn't even like me. My in-laws are saying my refusal is embarrassing and makes them and brother-in-law look bad. Brother-in-law has called repeatedly, and several group text participants have left messages to chat. My husband and some family are on our side, but others feel like I'm being petty and holding a grudge to ruin brother-in-law's wedding. My husband told his dad this evening by email that he has nothing to say unless they have a hat in hand and an apology for their behavior. His dad responded that they shouldn't have to apologize for wanting a child-free event, and my husband responded that we didn't care it was child-free, and that he wanted an apology for being rude, pushy, and hateful. Otherwise, they've nothing left to discuss, and would not let them see our child, but he got no response.